Today, I managed to get my Japanese driving license for car and motorcycle. So I thought I would make a movie to help other people out if they're going to see if they can get their driving license. Sorry about the scenery behind me. I've been in Japan for a month. You can see I still have my move-in boxes, and I also don't speak Japanese. I'm taking Japanese classes, but I'm certainly nowhere anywhere along the line of being able to communicate. Normally, if you're going to go get your driving license, they do suggest you bring someone who speaks Japanese. I didn't want to waste anyone's time, get them there, and then find out that I had stupidly forgotten some of the documentation that you need. So this video is going to be specifically for those who have a driving license from a country, and there are even a few U.S. states that where you can just exchange your driving license from that country for a Japanese one. I say exchange, but there are some hoops you have to jump through in order to do that. If you don't have a driving license from one of those areas where you are just trading it, although you're not trading it, you do get to keep your other license. If you don't have a license from one of those countries, there are other steps, which is essentially just like getting a driving license from scratch. You need to take a written test and you'll have to take a practical test. So I'm not going to be talking about getting that. I'm talking about trading your license from a country where they have an exchange with Japan. I'll put a link down below that takes you to a page that has a listing of those countries. There are about 3 states. One of them is Washington State in the United States, but also most EU countries, and that I have a driving license from the Czech Republic. And I'm also going to be talking about going to the Fuchu driving license place. It's in the west of Tokyo, out in the Chofu area. I'll go into detail about that, and then maybe it's transferable to some of the other ones, but I'm specifically speaking about Chofu. And again, walking in there, not speaking any Japanese and hoping for the best. And I'll start off by saying that people were so nice to me, and I really appreciate all the help that everybody gave me. I started by going in on a Sunday with all the documentation that I thought I needed. And again, I'm going to go into detail about what exactly is needed. And it turns out that even though they're open on Sunday for other things, which is a miracle to start with, I don't know what they're open for, but they were open. They're not open for issuing licenses to international people who are trying to trade in their license. But I did get a gentleman, a policeman, to communicate with me and go down the list, look at what I had, and he figured out that I was missing something, and I'll go into that in detail. And so I did have to go back. I actually went back 3 times. I really only had to go back the second time if I had paid attention the first time because of the hours. So you'll see on the, I'll take a photo of this document. This is the document, not from online, but actually that the policeman went through with me. And we'll go through this, and it talks about what the office hours are. So what you will need as you decide to go to the driving license place is you must have your foreign driving license, and it must still be valid. And probably the biggest thing that you're going to need is they're very particular about this. You will need to be able to prove that you stayed in the country where you got your license for at least 3 months after it was issued to you. And they suggest, if you go onto their website, that you bring a passport that has stamps in it. And I'm a dual national. I have an EU passport and an American passport. And when I go in and out of the EU using my EU passport, nobody stamps my passport. And when I go in and out of the States, rarely do the Americans stamp my passport. So I didn't have anything in any passport that would indicate how long I'd stayed in the Czech Republic. So what I did instead is I asked my former employer there to give me a document on letterhead saying when I'd worked there, put lots of nice stamps on it. And that worked. So it didn't need to show a passport. Another thing I did when I was going in there is I used Google Translate to say, I'm really sorry, I don't speak Japanese. I'm here to exchange my driving license. There's a document in here from my former employer because my passports won't show how long I stayed there. I did all of this in sort of basic language, translated it, copied, pasted it, printed it, and had it with all of the documents. And it really, I think, was very, very helpful. So I would recommend that. And so the first two times I went in and I met people that were very helpful. The third time I went in, so today, when I first went up, there was a guy, older guy my age, wearing a uniform, and I said, sumimasen, nihongo ga wakarimasen, which means I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese. And he was waving me away. That was it. He was done. But there was a young lady there who'd seen me there the day before, and she like pushed him out of the way and said, I'll take care of that. And she spoke enough English to really help me out. So just to give you some details about Fuchu, how to get where you're going. When I first walked in, I almost turned around and walked out again because, oh, this Japanese, I don't know how to read Japanese. And I probably would have walked out, but there was a guy over by there's an information booth sort of right in front of you with 3 lines. He waved me over, I went over, and he sent me up to the 3rd floor. So you will go in, you walk in, go to the left, and there's an escalator going up, and so you go up to the 3rd floor, the American style 3rd floor. So the ground floor is level 1, 2, 3. As you come off the escalator, you're looking for window 31, and that is, as you come off the escalator diagonally off to your right, it's right over in the corner. And window 31, barely anybody standing there, and you go up and you hand over all of your documents, which again I'm going through in a second, and they will then go through it, make sure you have everything. So let's go through that right now, and then I'll tell you what happens after that. So you have your valid foreign driver's license. You have something indicating that you stayed in that country for at least 3 months after it was issued, and your driving license normally says when it was issued. It needs to be valid, if I didn't say that already. The hours for doing this, by the way, are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m., and then they're closed for a while and they open from 1 to 3 again, Monday through Friday. And if you get to the window during those hours, presumably they will allow you to stay and go through this. So on here, and again, I'm taking a photo and I'll put this into the video. You don't need a driver's record. You need your passport. You need your valid passport. You need your residence card, so your Japanese residence card. You've already got your residence card, and you're going to be showing that. And an official copy of your residency registration. That's where I had messed up the day before. I just thought they wanted a photocopy of my residency card. No, there's actually an official thing called a juminyo, and that's another story. You have to go to your town hall. So for me, it's Mitaka here, and you have to pay 300 crowns, and they give you this document, and then you take that, and then that's what they're looking for. You need a Japanese translation of your driving license, and you can get that from JAF, the Japanese Auto Federation, and you can mail it to them with all the documentation. Again, I'll put a link down below that gives you those instructions. I didn't have to go there. I just sent in everything, and that's probably another video in itself. When you send the money, you send cash, and you go to the post office and they give you a special envelope that you put the money in, and then that gets sent. It's a very trusting country. I got the Japanese translation, and don't forget this is of a Czech driving license, so they are actually able to translate quite a few languages. And then photographs. The photographs, in Europe, most train stations, they have these photo booths, and I didn't find them here in Japan. So fortunately at Fuchu, and I imagine this is the same at any driving license place here, if you walk in the front door there, you turn right and a hard right. There's a whole bunch of machines there. You take your photo, it's 800 yen, and there's a little cutter there, and you cut it to the right size. It's all set up for you, and so you can go in there without your photos and get them done there. And so there, you've got all the things, and you hand it over, and they'll check it all off. They'll disappear. You wait. They'll give you a number. Give you a number, like a coat check thing, and they just handed it to me, and so it said number 8, and I thought, okay, do I go to someplace number 8? But you just go wait, and they have a little. It's a handheld thing. It's not digital. You're looking at the window that you just left, and they will flip it. They'll reach through the window and then they flip it. And so when it said 8, I go back up there again. So I go back up, and now they tell me, okay, sign a bunch of documents, and the documents are in Japanese. They give you an English translation. It's essentially, do you have seizures or alcohol problem and stuff like that. And then do all of that. And then she said, okay, now go downstairs to window 1 and pay this fee, and then go to window 2 and get your eyes checked. So window 1, you go back down to the ground floor, you come in, turn right, hard right, you look there, you'll see window 1, and there's a couple of windows. You go over there. I just handed it again. I don't speak Japanese. Here you go. And they showed me what I had to pay. It was about 7,500 yen, and I was getting for car and motorcycle. So I pay that, take that, and then they said, now go to window 2. So you turn around, go the opposite way, and there's 3 lines there. Window number 2. And you wait, you go up, and you're going to do an eye test. No Japanese at all. What you're looking at, they're going to ask you if you wear contact lenses. No. And so you put your face up against this thing, and you're looking. There's no characters or anything. There's a circle with a section of the circle missing, and you have to tell the person whether it's pointing up or down. So you're just sort of going up, down, that way. And then they'll check your color. So just make sure you're not colorblind, green, yellow, red, obviously. And then you're done with that. And you walk out the back, you turn right, and you go down, and there was a young lady sitting there, and she's just stamping things. And she spoke perfect English. She goes, I lived in New Jersey. So, and then she sends me back up to window 31. So you go up there. Now you've paid for everything. Hand it over. So wait another 5 or 10 minutes. And then she came back out again. And I don't know if they do this for everyone, but she was very helpful. She said, okay, come with me. We go downstairs to get my photo taken now for the license, because the other photos were not for the actual license. So you can sit in the chair, get your photo taken. And then she led me back upstairs to another room. I think it was on the third floor again. And there's a number on my receipt, and it said 10 in my case, and you match it to a thing on the wall, and it said that at 11:50 number 10 will be called. And so there's a group of people in number 10, and so you sit there and you wait, and at 10 exactly, so you're looking up at the front of this room. There's one window where there's a lot of red writing, and there's a window there's a lot of, I think it was blue writing. And you're not dealing with the one on the left, you're dealing with the one on the right. And when I walked in, it said 1-9, and at 11:50 exactly, it turned to 1-10. And then all these people got up and went up, and I was sort of looking, and I thought, okay, I guess I got nothing to lose. So I stood in line 2. I got up to the front. I handed my receipt. Person handed me my license. Oh, one thing I forgot is that going back to when you were filling in the documents, so the woman who walked me to go get my photo, she took me to a machine, and I had to enter a PIN code, 4-digit PIN code, enter it twice. And you hold on to that. And now, back to that room where they handed me my license finally, I walk out, and there's a bay of machines, and you take your license, and you set it on the machine. There's a little reader, and it'll ask you to put in that PIN code. So I guess they're making sure that you're the right person. So you entered in, and now it's valid, and now you've got your license. So I hope that that's helpful. Sorry if it's not, but hopefully my experience will help you out. I can't guarantee. I've heard mixed things. People like me where the people were so helpful, and other ones where they just struck out. But I hope it works for you. Bye.